My name's Matt Silva, and you are watching Arts Alive Delaware. Delaware Theatre Company's role in the Delaware arts community is one of vital importance and has been for 45 years. This is our 45th season. And so for 45 years, we've been the only regional professional theater in the state of Delaware. And on top of that, we have not just put on top-notch artistic quality shows for 45 years. In addition to that, we've developed a whole host of education and community outreach programs that have been impacting the community both inside of our building and outside of our building for 35 years at this point. Delaware Theatre Company serves a whole host of different folks. For starters, the main thing we do is that we have 5 shows per season. And so as part of those 5 shows, we have just over 2,000 subscribers. And so those folks, many of them have been with us since our first show back in the Firehouse in 1978. And they're still with us today. And as of today, we have 3 new subscribers. So we serve folks that are looking to come and see our shows. And in addition to that, we have student matinees, which are a really cool thing. We're able to bring in people to oftentimes experience a theatrical experience for their very first time, which is really cool. And then we also go into the schools and have different programs where we're training youth, exposing them to different tools to communicate and express themselves. The arts are vital in doing that, and Delaware Theatre Company plays a big role in that in the community. We also go into senior centers to give voice to people that are a little bit older and don't have the opportunity often to do that. So we do playwriting courses there, and so they're able to write their plays for 12 weeks and then actually put on a little reading of them so that their words exist in the world, and we provide professional directors and actors for that. And then we also run a Summer on Stage program, which serves up to 130 students every summer. And for 33 years, we've had Totally Awesome Players, which is a program that serves both cognitively and physically disabled folks. And it's a 12-week program where they come together to create a show that then they perform on our stage. And that's a really special experience as well. And there's some other flagship programs as well. So that's mostly who we serve. Delaware Theatre Company's upcoming 24-25 season is our 45th anniversary season. And it's so super exciting to have new seats, new carpet, new paint in order to sort of launch into the next 45 years here in Delaware. And the season starts off with Kinky Boots, which is a big splashy musical that celebrates what it is to be unique and to live out loud and to really embrace who we are unapologetically. And then we move on stage actually for the second show. It's a one-person show called Every Brilliant Thing, a really beautiful, heartfelt story about a gentleman whose mother attempted to take her life several times. So he would get little yellow sticky notes, and what he would do is write reasons why it's worth being alive, brilliant things. And over the course of his life, through his mother and then his own struggles as an adult, he amassed over 960,000 of these brilliant things. And so the show is sort of an interactive experience with the audience to talk about what it's like to be alive and why it's worth being alive. And our third show is called Home for the Holidays in the 302, our first annual holiday show. So this is our attempt at creating sort of an annual Wilmington experience that embraces the local art scene and using as many local artists to really celebrate what it's like to feel at home, especially here in Wilmington. Everybody has that sort of like smell or taste or vision or feeling of what it's like around the holidays. And so this show will sort of celebrate what that's like locally with local artists. And hopefully it will grow into something that can continue annually. And then our fourth show of the season is Tuesdays with Maury. People are probably familiar with that very famous book. It's been translated into 55 different languages or so through the years. Really beautiful story about what it's like and the relationships we value in life. And finally, we have a world premiere musical called Stompin' at the Savoy. The book writer is actually a local person. Phaedra Michelle Scott grew up here in Wilmington and actually participated in some programs at DTC when she was younger. And that is a story about sort of the original Lindy Hoppers, the jazz, big band jazz dancers, and also sort of playing with the rhythms of jazz and also jump rope and double dutch and sort of how the rhythms of the street match the rhythms of the dance halls. So it's a really thrilling and exciting season that we're thrilled about. Collaboration for Delaware Theatre Company is the key to success. And frankly, I think it's the key to success for all arts organizations at the moment. it's more important than ever. And so our first show of the year actually is a partnership with another local theater company, New Light Theater. New Light Theater's been around for the past 5 or 6 years, and they do phenomenal work. Their talent that they get is absolutely unbelievable. Between their incredible talent and storytelling and our facilities and ability to have a really big physical production that looks great, sounds great, has lots of glitz and glamour, it allows us to bring in their audience and exist with our audience. And also it gives them a chance to elevate what they're doing and to gain more recognition and notoriety. And I think that that's a really important role for Delaware Theatre Company moving forward now and in the future. And that furthers with the holiday experience. So we'll be working with several arts organizations here locally to make that show and create it together. And there's just no way that we can exist without resource sharing and without amplifying the stories and missions of other arts organizations here in Delaware. In terms of engaging diverse audiences for Delaware Theatre Company, we've consistency and building trust is key. And that's something that, as part of the Delaware Division of the Arts Incubator for Equity and Innovation, is something that we really learned and have dove into. We've been able to engage the past couple years a playwright, Leon Gray. Leon writes stories about African American history that are sort of barely known, and he really researches these and then writes fictional characters around these actual historical events. So 2 seasons ago we did Black Angels over Tuskegee. Last year we did Kings of Harlem. Next year we're going to be doing a show with him called The Girls of Summer. When Leon and his team come in, they really ensconce themselves into the community. They're going to local churches and doing performances. They're going to schools and they're giving little workshops. We went to the Boys and Girls Club. Kings of Harlem takes place on an actual basketball court. So we went to the Boys and Girls Club here and did a performance for 300 students on a real basketball court. They invited basketball teams to see the show. We had gentlemen from local high schools that have never seen a show before and are athletes, and they came and saw the show, and after the show they were engaging with Leon and his team, asking, can we do the show? Can we perform the show in our school? And that moment, when you talk about connecting with diverse audiences and building trust, that moment and that intersection between an athlete and the interest in the arts, moments like that are what we're searching for, and connections like working with Leon and his team continuing to understand this landscape here in Wilmington are really important. And the commitment to year after year performing those and working with those teams is really important. So subscribing to the theater company allows us early on to invest that money into the work that goes on stage, because the subscription revenue comes in early on before the season starts. And so at that point we're able to take a look and say, oh, look at all these subscribers and the revenue from that. That allows us to spend a little more money on this lighting thing that could be great. This actor who's from, who really is tough to get and we could employ. It's the buy-in of investing in your local arts organization. And so our subscriptions, thankfully, even though they're down almost everywhere regionally across the United States of America, ours are up and we're back over where we were during the pandemic, before the pandemic. And we really attribute that to never actually shutting down. Live experiences are really important. And we moved outside instead of going to virtual or anything like that. So our subscribers and our patrons and the community could come see us outside for a performance. And so we've been able to continue to connect to folks and to storytell with folks and to entertain with folks. And I think that communication, that experience together is something that is absolutely critical, and we continue to value that. Supporting the arts in Delaware is one of the most important things for a creative and vibrant community. And I've been here now for 6 years, and I've been now a Wilmingtonian for 2 years, nearly. And the more that I'm here, the more I recognize that without the arts community, especially in a time when most folks are struggling, this community and the landscape of Wilmington looks entirely different. And people won't know that until it happens. And we don't want to see that happen. And so supporting not just Delaware Theatre Company, but having a curiosity in the arts, attending things, being interested, learning about the arts in the community, is just really important. And having a philanthropic spirit around it. Listen, some people can only give $20. Some people can only give $5. Some people can only show up at an event that might be free. But even that patronage, that interest, that curiosity fuels the artistic community here in Wilmington, all throughout the state, upstate, downstate, everywhere. And so I would implore and beg folks to get involved. The arts have impacted my life in tremendous and gratifying and challenging ways. It's the only way I've ever made a living. I've never had any job that isn't arts related. And, you know, I think that from an early age, I can remember my father took me to see the Fantastics at the Sullivan Street Playhouse in New York. It's 99 seats. And it was the first show I had seen that like my sister wasn't in. At the beginning of the show, there's this big glissando on a harp. And as every string was plucked on that harp, every hair in my body sort of stood at attention. And I remember that feeling, and I chase that feeling in all of the work that I do artistically. And I want people to feel that same moment and to be sort of infected with it and infused with what the arts can do for one's life and living a fuller, more complete, more joyous life. And I think that we really need to be invested in having folks at an early age have that experience, or at least have access to it. And so I wouldn't be the person I am if the arts weren't such a big part of my life.
I'm Leah.
And I'm Pat.
And you're watching Arts Alive Delaware. So when it comes to the roles of organizations in a community, it's really a cohesive synergy. And I think each county kind of has their organizations that serve different populations. So for us, we're all about supporting the emerging level artists. We believe that that leap between emerging and professional is a kind of painful one. And that's a societal thing, not a Delaware thing. So we're here to give artists resources, opportunities to get their artwork out in front of people, really giving artists the spaces to create, like through our studios in the Forgotten Mile. But we also have a virtual space because we believe that connection of artists having access to on-demand opportunities and career support is really crucial. But the cool thing is we don't just support emerging artists, because we believe that even at the professional master level, having a sense of community is really important. And we find a lot of professional artists really love to give back and to mentor and share their experience with emerging artists. So we are all about artists in any form of their career. And even more importantly, it's not just visual. We believe musicians, chefs. We believe that if you have a story to tell, that is your medium, and we're here to help you tell your story.
A lot of our artists, a majority of our artists come into some sort of creative career while also having some other job. Most of them, it's not their primary source of income. It's not what they do every single day, all day long. So we serve a lot of people that are maybe looking for a change in their life, maybe looking to practice something that they can be a little bit more fulfilled in. And that really runs all ages, all demographics. It's anybody that has some sort of passion, they can create a career from it. And we provide opportunities like events where they can sell, but also education, teaching them how to do taxes themselves, because typically they're running a business independently. They don't have an accountant, a lawyer, and all the other big business positions. So they have to learn it all themselves, and we're here to support them in that.
Yeah, and I think the other really big part about how we serve our artists is there's a lot of mindset that artists have that's really stuck in a scarcity mindset. So it's not just about teaching them the fundamentals of business, it's about teaching them the mindset around understanding their craft, and creating a space where they can engage with other artists through critique, because that's why the art school experience is so important, because you're part of a community. So the other part of that is we're not just serving artists, we have made space for the general public. The space that we're in right now is our Artpothecary. So this is a space where folks, doesn't matter what your artistic skills are, we want you to come and make cool functional art with us. Also through our Westside Creative Market, this is a space that is beloved by this general area. We built this from an empty parking lot and turned it into this incredible event that takes place 2 days in the week, all summer long, plus we do special events down there as well. So we're not just serving artists, but we're really honing in on the general population to try to promote more culture in this area. We have so many people that are moving down here from cities, but when it comes down to access to the arts, I think that we have a number of arts organizations that are really answering that question of how can we expand the culture with this big boom in Sussex County. Pat is our marketing director. He actually came into this as the person that was leading artists to build websites. So when the pandemic happened, obviously everyone had their shows planned for the summer. Down here is very vendor event heavy. So that was the main way that artists were getting their work out to the public. What happened overnight with the pandemic was all of a sudden there were no opportunities like that. And we found that there were a lot of artists that didn't have websites, that had really poor marketing strategies in place. They weren't connecting with their buyers. They didn't have a strong social media presence. So we came up with the Creative Career Support Program quite overnight as well. And our organization, we just started really in 2017, so we were quite young, and we knew that this was so important to get artists help with their careers. And this was really what brought us to our purpose, and creating this flagship program that we've been developing over the years really came out of the pandemic. And even more incredibly, our Westside Creative Market, it started out as a market that we had on Meterless Mondays in downtown Rehoboth, really bringing artists out to show their work in a time where it was impossible, to get on the walls of anywhere. So we were, in the pandemic, really creating our programming that we have today. Same with Out of the Box. We were able to financially support our organization through selling DIY art kits. We created an e-commerce in like 3 weeks, and Pat really came into the picture, as well as other members of our team, that really shifted us. And these programs that we made in the pandemic are our identity and our purpose today.
I think vendor events are always an amazing thing for artists as well as the community. But what we saw during the pandemic is they're not always guaranteed. And we had to not only reframe the way the public thought about interacting with artists and buying art, but also reframe the way that artists present themselves to sell more art online, not face-to-face with somebody. So it was really important to us to create educational content that would help them keep a list of their inventory and figure out pricing and, be good at social media, make a website. So it really ran through every little aspect of running a business when you can't see somebody face to face and really connect with them at an event or in public or at a store. And it's grown from there. Now we can do it virtually, and we've had probably 24 artists kind of in some capacity go through our program, create beautiful websites, get photo shoots, new logos, branding, and they've all really excelled from that education.
Art is such a fabric of our communities, and folks sometimes forget that it's not just something that you go to and you are entertained by, but it's part of our everyday lives. So I believe that the general public is not only participating in the arts, but we all have that creativity inside of us. And seeing what makes you creative makes you relate to it and makes you want to support artists more and to buy local, buy handmade. And making those types of decisions is what makes that rising tide lifts all boats.
I grew up about 5 miles from here in Lewis, and as a kid, I was really involved in Clear Space Theater, Possum Point out in Georgetown, and there were kind of limited options for the arts in Sussex County at the time. And I feel as though when you're not in a big city, it's so vital to continue to support these organizations and the culture in your area, to ensure that the people that are really putting all the hard work into keeping those things going can keep going. So if that's a decision of, maybe not going out one night a week so you can instead go see the local theater show, that is something that we want to educate the public about, especially people that have recently moved here. Hey, here's all these amazing opportunities to support local artists, local organizations that are really making a change and bringing culture to Rehoboth and Lewis, but beyond, statewide in these areas that, are growing so rapidly. We need to make sure that those organizations don't get kind of left in the wake. Beyond just arts organizations, there's also so many different grassroots organizations in this area that we've been fortunate enough to work with in some capacity, whether that's a event at our market or, some sort of other collaboration. Beyond the bar, there's Skim USA, having parties for different local organizations, because it is a small town and nobody here just has one job. We're all involved in some sort of change-oriented organization, and that's the beautiful thing about living here, is we all kind of help each other out in that aspect.
We're the kind of organization that has an open door policy. We have the space open to the public. You can always give us a call. You can come take a tour, come get to know us. We are an up-and-coming artist development nonprofit down here at the Delaware Beaches, but we are looking to serve artists throughout the whole state of Delaware. So we're excited for more partnerships. We're excited for more businesses, other organizations that want to collaborate with us, especially if you have opportunities or want to reach artists. We actually have an incredible feature in our hub that you can share opportunities that our artists can have access to. So we want to be the people that brings others together. So it doesn't matter what type of background you have. We want you to be a part of DAC.
Yeah. The beauty of having no artist dues or, any cost to just become a member of our organization is you can sit back and ignore 99% of what, we post on the hub or social media, but we're hoping that one thing will resonate with you and one thing might be beneficial to you as an artist. Same thing for the public. Maybe you don't have the ability to come to a lot of our events, but we hope that you'll see one and be able to come. So by supporting us on, social media and sharing our content with people that you think also might be interested, that is a huge way to support us as well. Obviously, volunteering is always important to us because it allows us to meet the community at large too. People that might not consider themselves artists and don't really necessarily feel the need to become a member, but they do want to be involved. They want to support our mission. And then, there's always individual donations. That's huge for us. And that's a big priority for us going forward is recurring small donations from people that believe in what we're doing and believe in supporting artists, local events that celebrate art.
My vision when starting DAC has always been placing artists in partnership with community organizations to serve underserved communities. That's what I did. I bought a one-way ticket and I moved to Kenya, and as an artist was able to totally transform a community. And from day one of DAC, I've always said that artists can make massive, massive impacts. So our amazing partnership with Westside New Beginnings is an example when we see how we have really come up to bat in honoring this community of color with this amazing mural. So working with Westside New Beginnings and being able to empower our artist Terrence Van, who's a native of this community, his family is one of our historic families, to make this mural. It shows you the power an artist can have. So we are all about collaboration, which is why it is the C in the DAC.
Patty Grimes, Executive Director of the Joshua M. Freeman Foundation here at Arts Alive Delaware. The Freeman Arts Pavilion's role in Delaware is to make sure that everyone has access to arts programming, and whether that's a free program that we have at Freeman Arts Pavilion, or one of our national recording artists, or when we're out in the schools and in the community, we believe in the impact that the arts bring to everyone. So we serve so many populations. Again, our mission is for everyone. So whether it is a young audience program on Saturday morning for toddlers and preschoolers to age 10, or whether it's children who live in communities with barriers where we're with after-school programs, or whether it's a main stage event where people who are either living on Delmarva or visiting Sussex County are coming in to enjoy a national recording artist, this is a place for everyone. So if you've never been to the Freeman Arts Pavilion, you'll know that we're on the most southern part of Delaware. And when you come, you'll see us because we have a beautiful entrance that says our name, Freeman Arts Pavilion. We're nestled between Fenwick Island and Selbyville, Delaware. And so it's a drive that you can make if you're in Newcastle County. It's just 2 hours to a little piece of heaven right here in Delmarva. And if you're in Sussex County, you know, we're within a 30-minute drive of Rehoboth or Georgetown, Delaware. So having an outdoor venue gives us flexibility. So we have a very simple venue, and we are surrounded by the beautiful outdoors, and nature itself is art, right? So it gives us a clean landscape of how we want to set the stage, pun intended. So some nights people bring their own chairs, other nights we have fixed seating and people bringing their own chairs. Sometimes it's standing room only, depending on the genre that we're presenting. The perils of outdoors are when it rains. We are a rain or shine venue, so no umbrellas, but bring your raincoats. And you know, the heat has been sufferable at times this summer. So we deal with the perils of Mother Nature and the beauty of Mother Nature. Yes, we have a wonderful patron base and staff and volunteers that are adaptable and have helped to create this wonderful, vibrant arts community right here in Southern Delaware, where since our inception, this is year 16 we're completing, over 850,000 people have been part of our arts journey. So we have patrons who understand that some nights they may need to drink a little bit more water because it's warm outside. And we have a staff that is so passionate about our mission. And we have a volunteer base that we're so proud of and just so humbled by their service to make sure that everyone has a wonderful experience. We have almost 290 volunteers, and I'm super proud that they have received Governor Carney's Award of Excellence for volunteerism. So our volunteer base, in its mighty power that it brings, allows us to be able to offer an unparalleled experience that's informal, welcoming, and it allows, through their service, for us to take those dollars and then generate them into other mission programs that we do, whether it be in the schools, in the community, or almost 40% of our programs at Freeman Arts Pavilion are free for everyone to enjoy. So we have the most diverse programming, and that's, again, part of our mission. So not only is our mission everyone has access to the arts, we want everyone to have access to a diverse array of artists that come here. So someone exciting this summer, Brandy Carlisle was here, which so relevant in today's world to Uncle Devin was here for a young audience program for youngsters to understand about drumming and rhythm, to hip hop dance fundamentals, who come and teach hip hop fundamentals to everyone, whether you're 2 or 92. And they talk about civil rights and that movement through dance, to our wonderful partnership with the First State Ballet Theatre of Delaware, who come here and grace our stage. And they have toddlers and tiaras beforehand and a little dance lesson. And then after this beautiful ballet, which many people have never seen, young children get to meet these artists that, so who knows, the next ballerina may have been inspired by their experience at the Freeman Arts Pavilion. So during the pandemic, we were an organization that took this moment in time when the world was shut down and decided that we were going to be open. And again, we had Mother Nature on our side. We had the great outdoors. So we were one of 12 organizations in the entire country that were able to present the arts. We had pods, which were circles where 4 people sat in a pod, and we had a total of 388 people capacity, and nevertheless, we had a season and people came. We had sold out shows, so we were like a dinner theater. We had a 5 o'clock show and a 7 o'clock show, so we could multiply that. And we made a very bold move during the pandemic where we acquired an adjacent piece of property and went from the Freeman stage to the Freeman Arts Pavilion, because we knew that we would not survive the pandemic because people would no longer be comfortable being in our venue shoulder to shoulder. So we went from less than a 1-acre campus to a 5-acre campus during the pandemic. In 2021, we opened up this large campus and we've never looked back. So a lot of people think about the arts as they're nice to have, they're soft, and we believe in the impact of the arts, that they're necessary to feed the community in so many ways. They bring people together, they provide hope, people come together, and when they're together and the music is playing, everyone remembers word for word a song that was 20 years ago. You may not know your neighbor, but you're singing along. So you're forging new relationships, you're breaking down barriers. And the other aspect of what we've been able to bring here in 15 years, now year 16, is economic impact. We, for every dollar that is spent at the Freeman Arts Pavilion, $2.12 goes back out into our community to generate more dollars. And in fact, in the past 15 years, we just had an economic impact study commissioned through the University of Delaware. Over $101 million have been generated in Southern Delaware as a result of the Freeman Arts Pavilion, bringing arts to the community. So we're improving the quality of life, and we're a backbone for an economic engine in our area. It is so important for people to support the arts. Again, not only bringing community together, but the arts feed the soul. They feed the community. And without the arts, there are other ills that come into play, especially supporting arts in children. Americans for the Arts tell us that children who are involved in arts at a young age and through their academic career are much more apt to be community leaders, to be involved in their community as volunteers. And they actually do better in testing in critical areas like math and science. So please be an ambassador and be part of a vibrant arts community and come out and enjoy a great performance at Freeman Arts Pavilion. Supporting any kind of arts is really important for the state of Delaware. You can support the Freeman Arts Pavilion. We call it Arts in Your Backyard, since we are an outdoor pavilion, by going to our website, freemanarts.org. There's a plethora of opportunities there. So whether you come out and come to a performance, or if you've been here, come again and bring a guest, to volunteering. Again, we have this wonderful backbone of volunteers who bring their talents, and their time. And that allows us to be a multiplier of good out in the community. And then by tithing, to be able to support us financially. As a public charity, we only thrive for people out there in the world who want to support our arts financially as well. So any of those three areas are ways that you can be part of the arts movement. So I am a child that we serve today, 63 years ago. I grew up in a family where the arts were not available to me. We were more of a sports family. And when I was offered this wonderful position as executive director, I have grown up and learned all about the arts. So they have touched me personally and my family, and to bring together a work family of business people to be philanthropists and servants to the public has been the biggest honor of my life.